Kroy Biermann, a prisoner of Kim Zolciak for 13 years. RHOA alum and former pro NFL player, Kroy Biermann claims that he was a prisoner of Kim Zolciak's for 13 years. He has been struggling with his estranged wife for over a year now, and it is not getting any easier. Now she has made some claims about him, but he has his own story to tell. Keep reading for more details. Kroy Biermann, a prisoner of Kim Zolciak for 13 years. When Kroy Biermann and Kim Zolciak filed for divorce, it was a big shock as they seemed so in love. Not only did he adopt her 2 children from previous relationships, but they had 4 additional children together. From meeting on RHOA, the couple landed their own spin-off, Don't Be Tardy, and lived a life of luxury. Sadly, they had several lawsuits, owed over $1 million to the IRS, and their home was facing foreclosure. Eventually, they ended their marriage and threw allegations at one another. They did try to reconcile, but that did not fix anything, so they proceeded with the dissolution of the marriage. Things took an aggressive turn, and the police were called repeatedly to the home. Kroy called Kim out for having a gambling addiction and excessive spending. Now he is trying to force the sale of their home, as she wants it priced higher than he deems necessary. He just wants it sold so it won't go into foreclosure, thus affecting his credit. Kim has since come out and alleged she pays for everything, and Kroy wants her back, but he is doubling down on that story. He took to his Instagram stories to share how he feels and his truth. First, Kroy Biermann shared a handful of slides about narcissism to set the stage. Then he explained that he had been a prisoner of Kim Zolciak's for 13 years. More so, he called out the TMZ interview where she claimed. There were also allegations that their eldest child, Kroy Biermann, pays for more than Kroy does. He now appears to want to speak his truth, as he has been silenced for way too long. Fans slam Kim. After seeing Kim Zolciak's interview about her and Kroy Biermann, fans were not on her side in the slightest. They felt that she was the one responsible for the family's downfall due to her various addictions and needed to get a proper job. Kim, you broke that man, then started playing in his face. That's because he's the only one who actually takes care of all of their kids. He's a full-time dad. Yeah, because she drained his bank account. This lady is a train wreck. Well, I'm sure he has nothing left thanks to you. Girl, he definitely doesn't want you back. You dragged him down. They do not think that he wants her back, as she claims and believes Kim drained Kroy dry. So it is clear whatever Kroy has to say, followers are listening. Kroy Biermann could remember the exact moment he lost his freedom. It wasn't in some dramatic, handcuffed arrest or a judge's ruling. It was on a warm summer evening in 2011, under the bright lights of an Atlanta Falcons charity event. Kim Zolciak had locked eyes with him across the room, and he had unknowingly stepped into a trap that would hold him captive for the next 13 years. At first, it seemed like love. Kim, with her larger-than-life personality, platinum blonde wigs, and an insatiable appetite for the finer things in life, had made him feel like a king. He was the young, handsome NFL player, and she was the reality TV star with a talent for spinning gold out of scandal. It was intoxicating. The whirlwind romance, the lavish wedding, the babies that followed like clockwork, it all seemed like the perfect life. But slowly, the walls started closing in. Kim didn't just want Kroy as a husband. She wanted him as her personal servant, her financial backer, her human security blanket. And Kroy, in his wide-eyed devotion, let it happen. First, she nudged him into adopting her daughters, Brielle and Ariana, branding him as their new and improved father figure. Then came the career sabotage. One season, Kroy was a defensive powerhouse, a respected name in the NFL. The next, he was missing practices to appear on Don't Be Tardy. Filming scene after scene of Kim shopping, Kim eating, Kim demanding. And the spending, oh, the spending. Kim bled him dry with her insatiable need for designer everything. If Kroy so much as hesitated at another Chanel bag, another diamond bracelet, another extravagant family trip, she'd pout, bat her lashes, and remind him that it was all for the brand. And Kroy, once a man who had tackled giants on the field, was powerless against the force of Kim's manipulation. Years passed and the love faded, but the control never did. Even when his football career crumbled, when their financial issues became tabloid fodder, when they were drowning in lawsuits and debt, Kim found a way to keep Kroy tethered. She knew exactly how to play the game, planting just enough guilt, just enough hope, just enough fear that he could never truly walk away. He tried, once. He had packed a bag, gotten into his car, and stared at his reflection in the rearview mirror, trying to remember who he had been before Kim. But just as he was about to start the engine, his phone rang. "Are you really going to do this to the kids?" Kim's voice slithered through the receiver. "After everything I've done for you." And just like that, he was trapped again. 13 years. 13 years of reality, TV chaos, financial ruin, whispered humiliations from ex-teammates who pitied him. He was no longer Kroy Biermann, the NFL star. He was Mr. Kim Zolciak, the house husband who had traded the gridiron for a life of endless, exhausting servitude. But something had changed in him. A slow, quiet rebellion had started brewing in his heart. He was tired of playing Kim's game. He was tired of the desperate attempts to maintain a lifestyle that had long since bankrupted them, both financially and emotionally. He was tired of the mind games, the power struggles, the facade of a happy marriage that only existed for Instagram posts and Bravo reruns. One evening, as Kim sat in their mansion, scrolling through designer websites and making grand plans with money they no longer had, Kroy stood in the doorway, watching her. "I'm done," he said. Kim barely looked up. "Done with what, babe?" "Everything. The lies. The debt. The show. You." For the first time in years, Kim seemed genuinely caught off guard. She set her phone down and narrowed her eyes. "Kroy, don't be ridiculous." But he wasn't being ridiculous. For the first time in over a decade, he felt like himself again. He wasn't afraid. He wasn't under her spell. He was free. Kim scoffed, rolling her eyes. "You think you can just leave? After everything?" Kroy nodded. "I know I can." And with that, he walked out, this time for good. But something had changed in him. A slow, quiet rebellion had started brewing in his heart. He was tired of playing Kim's game. He was tired of the desperate attempts to maintain a lifestyle that had long since bankrupted them, both financially and emotionally. He was tired of the mind games, the power struggles, the facade of a happy marriage that only existed for Instagram posts and Bravo reruns. One evening, as Kim sat in their mansion, scrolling through designer websites and making grand plans with money they no longer had, Kroy stood in the doorway, watching her. "I'm done," he said. Kim barely looked up. "Done with what, babe?" "Everything. The lies. The debt. The show. You." For the first time in years, Kim seemed genuinely caught off guard. She set her phone down and narrowed her eyes. "Kroy, don't be ridiculous." But he wasn't being ridiculous. For the first time in over a decade, he felt like himself again. He wasn't afraid. He wasn't under her spell. He was free. Kim scoffed, rolling her eyes. "You think you can just leave? After everything?" Kroy nodded. "I know I can." And with that, he walked out, this time for good.